All right, welcome to grade 6, Eureka Math Squared. This is lesson 11 from module 2. And this is we're starting on page 147, and it's all about practicing different word problems and applications of dividing fractions. All right, so we'll begin with Riley over here. She pours 12 gallons of water into a tank. The water fills 3/4 of that tank. So how many gallons can the whole tank hold? This is what I like to call a lemonade jug scenario or question, right? So we have a jug and we're filling it up and we filled it 3/4 of the way. But what did we do? We put 12 gallons of water into that tank. Question is, how many gallons can it hold? So what I like to do is put an essential thought in here. This is what I like to call an is of question scenario. Okay, so the 12 gallons, right, is 3/4 of the tank, but we're looking for, right, the total of some total, right? End quote. Or, okay, ready? 12 is 3/4 of what total, right? A little shorthand on that one. Now, this is how things play out with this. I can actually build an algorithm from this. Now, watch. Here's my 12, right? There's my 12. Is an equal sign. 12 is equal to 3/4 of his multiplication, right? And there's my sum value. Okay, now it doesn't look like much of an algorithm that I can solve, but watch what happens here. Okay, what this is saying is if I take these two values and multiply them, I'm going to get this answer. Okay, this looks an awful lot like the check of a division problem. Let's say I have 20 and I divide it by 4 and I get an answer of 5. I may ask myself, let's check that. And how do you do it? You would then say 20 equals, you would take these two and multiply them. 4 times 5, right? So 20 equals 4 times 5. Therefore, 20 divided by 4 equals 5. Well, I'm going to take this and apply it over here. So if 12 equals this guy times this guy, well, then 12 divided by this guy is going to equal my missing value, right? See how that worked? It's kind of cool. So there's my algorithm. So if I take my 12, right, divided by my 3/4, I can then run a keep, right, a change, excuse me, a keep change, right, and a flip. Okay, let's simplify before we multiply. I can take care of that 12 and the 3, divide them both by 3. Right, I get a 1 down here and I get a 4 over there. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 over 1 gives me 16. So 16 gallons. Okay, there I am. Now, check this out. Here's the best part of this thing. So let's go back to this statement here and let's draw a diagram. It says 12 is 3/4 of. 12 is 3/4 of. I want to build that tank. So I'm going to start with my tank and fill it 3/4 of the way, right? There's 3/4 filled tank right there, right? 3/4 of my tank is filled. Now here comes that statement. The 12 is the 3/4. So here are my 12 gallons. Here's my 3/4 of my tank, right? The question is, how many gallons does the whole tank hold? So if this whole thing is my tank and 12 gallons is this guy right here, how do I find out this total? Well, not so bad, because if I have 12 and 3 boxes, one, two, 3 boxes give me the 12, well, then each box must be worth 4 because 12 divided by 3 equals 4. Well, if each box is worth 4, oopsie, sorry, then this box must be worth 4. So 4 times 4 gives me that 16. There it is. See how cool that is? Very, very cool. Okay, so that's the first question solved 2 different ways. Now, Riley fills the whole tank with water. Okay, so we know that's 16 gallons. We just figured that out. She fills the whole thing. Now, he fills, right, half-gallon bottles from the tank. Now, this is a different kind of question. This is what I like to call a measurement question. This is more specifically a bracelet question. So we're going to take a certain amount of gallons, right? 16 gallons, going to go all the way across, right? 16 gallons. We're really going to visualize this. And we're going to split it into 16 parts. Every part is a gallon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so there are my 16 gallons. Now, if I'm filling bottles that are a half gallon each, well, I'm going to change my color here, right? Well, that's going to mean that I'm going to split every one of these gallons in half. Now, if I do that, every new box is worth half a gallon. Now that every box is worth a half gallon, I know exactly how many bottles I can fill. All I have to do is count all the little boxes, right? So here's one bottle, there's a bottle, there's a bottle, there's a bottle, but there's a bottle, there's a bottle, right? How many do I get? Well, if this is 0 and this is 16, right? If I double that, I should get 32 over there. Okay, so that's where I get my 32. Now, as far as the algorithm is concerned, well, again, let me write an essential statement here. Okay, how many? This is this kind of deal. This is a different kind of question. This is that measurement deal. How many 1/2s are in 16, right? So if that's the case, I always start with my 16. I'm going to split it in halves. That's how this is represented. How many halves are in 16? If I take 16 and I split it into halves, how many halves can I make? Okay, so you can do a little keep change flip if you want. Little 16 over 1 times 2 over 1, 32 over 1 equals 32. There you go. Okay, so 2 ways to deal with that problem. Pretty cool. And then lastly here, last one I'll do for this particular lesson. Lots of things going on in here, but I just can't go on forever. So Scott finishes 1/6 of the levels of the video game in 3.5 months. Oh. Which expression is used to determine the number of months it will take Scott to finish all levels? Oh, I already have it. Okay. The 3.5 months is 1/6 of what total? Right? So for 3.5 months, he's been playing video games. Okay, at the end of 3.5 months, he finished 1/6. So I need to start with the 1/6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right there it is. The 1/6. It took 3.5 months to do 1 out of 6 levels. There it is, right? So question is, right, if this is 3.5, this is 3.5, 3.5, right? 3.5 months for each level. Now we can find out the exact amount of time. Okay, so the whole box here represents all levels. This one box represents the 3.5 months it took to complete that one level. Well, it's logical to then assume it's going to take him 3.5 months for all other levels. So what do we have? We have the 3.5 multiplied by the 6 levels. Okay, so I can do a little, let's change this up a little bit here. I can't multiply that thing. So that's 6, 7 over 2 times 6. They don't even want the answer. Let's see. That's a 1. That's a 3. Right, I simplified. 21 over 1. So it's going to take them 21 months to do this. My gosh, it's almost 2 years. Okay, now they want to know which one of these bugaboos represents that deal. Well, let's go back to this for a second here. Okay, so 3.5 is 1/6 of, right, some value. Okay, so let's translate. 3.5 is, that's an equal sign, right? 1/6 times something. Or 3.5, right, divided by 1/6 equals, aha, there it is, right there. Okay, there it is. Now you might be thinking this guy over here, but check it out. That says 3.5 times 1/6. I needed 3.5 times 6 whole. So the diagram takes care of that guy. So that's out. These guys are out because they're the reverse of what they're supposed to be. I'm not finding out how many 3.5s are in 1/6. I'm trying to find out how many 1/6 are in 3.5. And that's the deal. All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.